No way.
They always talk about how hard they are to find, but man, that was just sitting there. We've all dreamt of finding a hidden immunity idol before. We've all screamed at our TV as people sleep while their opponent is out there on that Survivor grind set. We've all thought, it can't be that hard, can it? Now, I'm not saying that me, a one-eyed man with glasses, could find a hidden immunity idol, but maybe I could. You never know. How hard could it be? So let's take a look at the new era idols and ask, are these difficult to find? Do they stand out in the environment? How many of them are hidden in trees? Spoiler alert, there are so many hidden in trees, that is the video. New era idols can be a bit weird.
Butterflies are just dead relatives saying hi.
Understatement of the century. So to clarify, I'm only talking about the initial part that people find without clues. This video may actually end up being called How to Find a Beware Advantage and Lose Your Vote LMAO Get Wrecked Idiot. I also won't be talking about idols given away for free at summits, although if I ever make a video about my least favourite twist in Survivor, it'll just be a massive takedown of this episode of Survivor 44. With that, let's get into it. We'll start with Xander. He found his Beware Advantage here, sort of tucked firmly in a tree. That's neat. I don't think they hide too many of these in trees. The colouring of the paper blends in a bit, and I could very easily see myself walking past this. I'd say this is quite hidden. How about Brad? Remember Brad? They should bring Brad back for Survivor 50, he was fun. We don't see a lot of his idol, but it seems to just sort of be laying in a tree? We're 2 for 2 so far. My argument about how well hidden it was basically boils down to, was it under the leaves or just on top of them? Leave your vote in the comments below. We can solve this issue once and for all. Sadly for all involved, Brad did not get to use his idol, but very soon Jeannie found the replacement. And this one is kind of tucked into a plant again. Getting real close to being a tree on my tree radar, but I'll let it slide for now. It's low to the ground, but I think the brown contrasts the green enough that I might notice it. So we've had 3 pretty hidden immunity idols so far. Heh. But what about Nasir? He saw this one like a mile away. It's at eye level. We can't see behind the leaves, but is that just perched there? In another tree? This also marks the start of a weird trend. The last idol found is almost always way easier than the first few. Are they super worried they won't all be found before the merge? Do you think they move the idols at night if people haven't found them in a while? If they do, can I follow production around and watch them move the idols? What do they do if wildlife eats one? Uncertain. That's all for Survivor 41. It feels weird to say, but that felt pretty restrained. Remember when 4 idols per season was considered a lot? Simpler times. What about Survivor 42? Mike's up first and his was inside a tree, but it was behind some suspiciously leaned up sticks. If you see anything covering a hole, I guess move it and shove your hand in there? Yeah, that seems like good advice. What could go wrong? Speaking of holes, Marianne found her Beware Advantage between 2... Did you say trees? No, you fool, the botanists were taking a day off, this time it's in some rocks. It's not only covered, but also pretty deep inside the 2 rocks. So sometimes idols are just sitting there, and sometimes you have to actually try. It's very luck of the draw. Speaking of not having to try, the last idol of the pre-merge was once again the easiest to find. Like, what is this? Is this staged? Is it straight up just sitting there? Am I going insane? If this were Island of the Idols, Rob would spawn out of nowhere and call her an idiot for grabbing such an obvious looking advantage. Good find, Drea. What about the other idol found by Marianne? This is glorious. Marvel at this hiding spot. It's perched high above eye level, the tree is the same colour as the note. To be a bit pedantic, it is in a tree, so no points for originality, but this one does seem more hidden than the rest. Maybe the post-merge idols are more hidden because more people are looking for them, or because they usually don't have weird games attached to them. Let's see if this holds in Survivor 43. What's that? There were no post-merge idols in this season? Ah, okay. The first idol on this underrated season was found by Cody, and clearly this is just easy for guys like him. Look at this, he just had to look down and there it was. This is hardly hidden at all, it is in some driftwood, which is a former tree, but we'll let it slide for now. Carla's was also not hidden. If she were much taller, she genuinely may have just walked into it. I do like the verticality of the idol find, that's pretty unique in the new era. But goddamn, another tree! In fact, the only idol this season I'd argue was hidden is Genie's. It wasn't much, it was still sticking out of a bit jammed between two trees, damn it. But it's better than the previous two. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that these 3 seasons feature a big social element to getting your idol, so perhaps it's fair that these clues were hidden in, shall we say, uninspired areas, because people had to complete a further task in order to actually activate them. I'm sure they'll switch it up for Survivor 44, right? Well, they start off strong. Brandon finds the key to his idol. I can't really tell where. It's not a tree, but the camera work makes it hard to follow. It's either underneath the rock, in which case you'd obviously see it from the other direction, or it's inside the rock, in which case this is really quite hard to find. Maybe it's under some leaves? This is one where it seems like they really don't want us to know what happened, which I find bizarre. Compare this to Danny. His idol was in the base of another tree. This is going to begin a whole new trend. Look at this tree. Memorize its roots. You will search every single tree of this variety from here until the end of time. For example, Carolyn's key. It was hidden in basically the exact same spot as Danny. Makes me think there's something fishy going on with Brandon here. And where does Matthew find his idol? It's also in the base of a tree. Not the same tree, but still, that's 3 of 4 idols this season, all hidden in the base of a tree. It almost makes me miss the first 3 New Era seasons. They were all trees, but they were slightly different. But Survivor 44 just put them on the ground, in trees, or weirdly behind a rock. Would it kill them to switch it up a little bit? No way, go back. Not to blow your mind or anything, but Heidi's idol wasn't in the root of a tree. It was still in a tree though. For those of you keeping track at home, 14 out of 17 idols have been in a tree or somewhere wood related. I know like 90% of the island is a tree, but my god. Hide it somewhere else? I know you know how, I've seen Survivor China, just do that again. It was great. Now again in Survivor 45 they had to complete a series of tasks to find their idol, but again we're only talking about what starts you down the path of idleness. Austin was perched in a tree, damn it. In fact, I didn't even think he was looking, he was just carrying some logs and saw it? Does this count as being hidden? Am I being trolled? And say what you will about Brandon's performance on Survivor, he may have his faults. I can't think of any, but I'm sure he has them. Finding idols is not one of them though. He knows when finding an idol, channel your inner Lorax and look for the trees. He even had to reach for the tree. This is revolutionary. This man is clearly on a whole different level. Wait, no, don't give it away, Brandon, no! Thankfully, the producers really switched it up with Uncle Bruce's idol. This one was in the base of a tree. The same tree as Danny and Carolyn. It might even be the exact same tree. They reuse islands. It's possible. Having to move some debris out of the way is a nice touch, I'll give them that, but it is the same tree. Last for Survivor 45 we have Jake. It's in a tree. Every idol this season and almost all of them last season were in a tree. In fact, Jake says something profound here.
I'm looking in the trees that look similar to where Bruce found his beware advantage.
If you see a tree that has this form, I don't know what you'd call it, I don't go outside. It's a decent candidate. If they're hiding idols in the base of trees, it is a better than random shot, I'd say. 6 more idols to go through for Survivor 46. First is Tiffany. Finally, a unique hiding spot. If we're following trends, inside a rock wall is not one of them. Inside a rock is, but I'm going to say rock wall and rock are different things. It's good to know that all this analysis is probably for nothing, because after 5 seasons they can just randomly switch it up even if they're using the same islands over and over and over and over again. Randon's Beware advantage was actually kind of unique. It may be in a tree, but there's some actual creativity on display here. Did they strip the bark of the tree so they could fold the note and shove it into the tree's crevice? That's fair play, I respect it, Jeff. Even for Jem, it's still hidden in a tree, but it's a bit different. You sort of gotta reach around. I may be grasping at straws here, but they're not just putting them in some tree roots and calling it a day. They do feel a bit hidden. Except for this one. Once again, the last one before the merge. It's a trend. It's also a freebie. What the heck, Hunter? Maybe it's the camera work, but come on, that is so free. So free he didn't even use it. Venus's idol has me rethinking my life. Maybe this is what the underside of Brandon's rock will look like in Survivor 44. If so, I retract all my negative talk. This isn't easy to spot, and it's not in a tree. Thank God, they're listening. Last we have Q. Where'd he find his? A tree? Damn it. This one was in a tree knot though, and it was low to the ground, and he had to push some debris away to find it. I'm just trying to cope, I've been defeated. Alright, let's do some quick analysis. Of the 26 idols found in the new era, 20 of them have been in a tree. 21 if you think this is a tree. 22 if this is also a tree. Botanists are either of these trees. The remaining were near big rocks, assuming you count a rock wall as a big rock. Of the 26 idols, 13 were classified as low to the ground from my perspective. 9 of them were mid to the ground and 4 of them were high up. My one victory in the genetic lottery may actually be a detriment when it comes to Survivor. Using this knowledge, I predict that the Survivor 40 several idols will in fact be in trees. In fact, I reckon we're due to see that one tree producers really like again. Put it on a bingo card. So to answer the question, how do we find hidden immunity idols in the new era? Crawl around some trees, I think. But what do you think? Are these idol hiding locations creative? Am I just yelling at clouds? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Hindy Hitman Survivor, and I'll see you in a tree statistically.